Whenever I get asked the question, how many sales calls should a salesperson make?
Stop calling me.
There's always a little bit of fear that goes along with that question.
That's pathetic.
Let's have a moment of truth. Do you have phone fear?
What are you doing? What, you're gonna call someone?
Do you find yourself getting to that point where it's time to make the sales calls, and yet you find yourself having this sudden, urgent, have to happen right now need to like vacuum?
Thing is probably covered in 10 years of grease.
Or check your emails?
Oh, it's supposed to come online at midnight.
I mean, it's 4 minutes late. Come on, people.
Or do some client work?
I got this. I can handle the pushing. No one is pushing.
And you just find yourself consistently avoiding and putting off that moment of getting on the phone and making the sales calls? You know who you are. I am talking to you, my friends.
She can't stay locked away up there all day. She has to come down sometime.
So today we are answering the question, how many sales calls should a salesperson make? And we're talking about how to get rid of the phone fear so that you know the number and you feel confident getting on the phone and getting it done. When I was a newer entrepreneur, I hated getting on the phone so much. Like literally every single time I had to get on, I would get sweaty, I would feel nervous, I would feel a little nauseous. And so I started doing this crazy thing where I would do 100 call days. I would literally do 100 phone calls in one day because I was gonna spend the same amount of nervous energy in that one day as I would every single day when I made the calls. So I figured it better to just be nervous on one day than on all the days.
I'm nervous.
Wow! For God's sake.
But here's what I learned during that time. I'm only nervous for the first 10 calls. The 10 calls that I do first, they suck every single time. Like I'm literally uncomfortable every single time, but I only hate the first 10 phone calls. Like I was nervous for those first 10 every single time, but once it was done, it was like, no, I'm in my jam, I'm talking to people, this is great. I loved being able to be of service, and I think that's why you're here too.
It's made her better than anyone in this room. Well, except me.
And the sales call is opening the door to your service. The truth is, your business has a magic number that you need in order to hit your sales goals consistently. So in this video, I'm going to show you what that formula looks like so that you always know what the number is. Then I'm going to give you an example of some clients who have drastically increased their sales by following this formula. I'm even going to throw in my recipe for how to have less calls and make more money. It's so simple. You're going to be like, why did I not figure this out earlier? Because I want you to be able to earn more money without feeling like you are constantly tied to the phone.
Wow.
And if you stay until the end, I'm going to give you my free template that's going to calculate all this for you so you don't even have to do the math. Let me introduce you to my ultimate marketing calendar. I absolutely love this document. So what it's going to do for you is you put in your sales goal, you put in the amount of your most popular product. It's going to tell you how many sales you actually need to have. And then we go to the conversion rate. All right, my friends, if one more person tells me they have an 80% conversion ratio, like I'm going to strangle them with my stethoscope. The only reason people have 80% is because they're literally not talking to anybody that hasn't already pretty much decided that they're going to work with them. They're just waiting until people show up, and they're closing very few deals. Nobody that is closing high volume is closing at 80%. It's just not possible.
I don't know what you're talking about. Go juggle some balls.
So what is a more average range is somewhere between like 20 to 40%. 40% is great. But once you start getting into colder and lukewarm traffic, like you're just not going to close at 80%. They just met you. They're just getting to know you. Now, over time, they might close, but in that beginning phase, if you're actually marketing, you're actually bringing in new leads, it's just not possible. So don't beat yourself up if your sales ratio is at 20%. Always work on getting it higher, but I will accept anywhere in that range.
Stop making excuses.
Sorry.
Stop apologizing.
Okay.
So how do you actually Figure out the close ratio. Number one, you have to stop lying because it's not going to tell you anything useful if you don't actually tell the truth. So here's what I'm talking about. Sometimes people will say, oh yeah, that person said yes, but then they never signed the contract, they never paid. That's a no, that's not a yes. Sometimes they'll say, oh, well, they weren't really qualified, when in reality they were qualified, they just decided to say no. It does you no good to lie to yourself about your closing ratio.
It's not us. It's them.
So what you'll do is you'll literally keep track of all of the people that you talk to, and then you'll go back and you'll see how many of them actually closed, as in paid, signed the contract, money is in your bank. That is your closing ratio. The number of people that closed divided by the total number of calls that you did. Now let's keep following it through. So we've talked about the closing ratio. The next thing you have is your hold ratio. That is quite simply the number of people that scheduled versus the number of people that showed up. It can be, without any kind of help or support, it can be around 50%. When you put strategic energy into getting your hold ratio up, that can go as high as 80%. But I have in here at 70%, so we're just gonna roll with it.
How'd that happen?
I don't know, you're a surgeon, how'd that happen?
The next number is the percentage of people that you talk to that schedule. So this is the number of people that you actually have a live conversation with, like you're on one end of the phone, I'm on the other, someone on my team is on the other. We're talking. 25% is a good ratio, that's a good goal to set. If you get lower than like 10%, whoever is making that call is not doing a good job. And if you are as high as like 40%, celebrate, hallelujah, and send me your scripts because I will copy them and I'll give you credit the first time. Now, all of this is industry specific because, for example, if you're calling anybody who has a gatekeeper, that number is going to go down. And there are things that you can do to help you get through the gatekeeper and other strategies you can use to get around them and get to the doctor. But you need to know that every industry is going to have numbers that move just a little bit differently. But for service-based business owners, this is pretty average. Like you can take these numbers and work with them. Now here is the number that kills me every single time. It's the number that makes me want to cry, and it's the percentage of people that you ever actually even get a hold of. So we get all these leads coming in through marketing, and some of them will never, ever, ever pick up the phone. It doesn't matter how nice your text messages are. It doesn't matter what time of day you call. They're just never going to engage with you.
You're pretty.
That number is really more a reflection of your marketing than it is of your sales. But I still track that number because different lead generation sources, some are really hot and we can get a hold of all those people, and some are not. And maybe we look at that and say, we don't need to do that again because these people are not really engaging with us.
You know, if I'd gone off to the woods, I would have invited you to keep me warm.
So there you have it, my friends. Those are your numbers. If you will track these, it's gonna help take some of the emotion and some of the fear out of making your calls, because you know, I just have to do this many calls and I'm going to get this reward. For me, when I was really struggling with phone fear, it was the idea that I was gonna call 100 people and nobody was gonna be interested, and I was gonna have rejection after rejection after rejection after rejection and not show up with anything to show for it at the end.
What the hell?
And this will help you see, like, okay, I need to call this many people before I get one person to schedule with me. And then I need to schedule this many people before one person buys from me. And it takes you out of your emotions and it really puts you into a better frame of mind to be more successful in your sales calls. Life hack, if you don't like to look at the numbers because you feel like it makes you feel disconnected from the person, you can go in and you can change these things to number of people I was friendly with today, and number of people that are excited to talk with me, and number of people served, and number of lives changed. Like, you can change it to whatever you want. The reality is that the numbers are always a reflection of the service that you offer. And if you want big, big, big impact, then guess what? You're gonna need to do a consistent amount of reach outs every single week in your business. If you wanna double or triple your sales right now, try increasing the number of sales calls. What? Mind-blowing, I know, but it works.
Are we clear?
No.
What's not clear?
So if you want more diagnostics of your sales, then go check out my video, how to use body language to increase sales, because oh my gosh, it's amazing how much information people will give you during the sales conversations. And if you want the template, because you don't want to have to do the math on your own, wise decision, my friends, make sure that you click below and you can go grab my ultimate marketing calendar. So go watch the video, you know you want to. And thank you for watching, because I am the sales doc diagnosing your sales woes so that your sales can be sick.